Hey, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods. Oh, you guys are already awake. So here we are. It is Monday morning. Week 8 is now in the book in the NFL. And what's becoming apparent is the cream is beginning to rise. And unfortunately, our Cowboys are looking up at a lot of teams currently right now. You got to start taking San Francisco for real. They ended up blowing out Carolina, getting a 50 burger. I mean, that's just amazing when you look at it. Then you got Seattle, of course, with Russell Wilson, who's definitely MVP candidate out there, who's been on fire. And Seattle is looking good. We're looking up at both of those teams. You end up looking at the Green Bay Packers beating Kansas City without Pat Mahomes. Regardless, they're kicking some ass. The only loss they're having, of course, is against the Eagles. And even now, Minnesota with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins seems to have gotten into a groove, and all of a sudden, after people saying they just need to leave him by the side of the road, now they're talking about him maybe as an MVP candidate. Go figure. That's just a crazy season. And Teddy Bridgewater. Some people said they'd take Teddy Bridgewater over Dak Prescott and have a better team. Well, New Orleans has only one loss. And now Drew Brees is back, and it seems like Drew Brees didn't skip a breeze. Didn't skip a beat. Not a breeze, a beat. Either one. He didn't skip jack. So you're looking now at the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Eagles riding their ship yesterday, going to Buffalo and getting a win against a good Buffalo team. Or are they a good Buffalo team? Here's the crazy thing about football. Football, you just don't know. Sometimes records can be deceptive. Sometimes teams seem better than they really are, or people think they're better than they are. This makes me wonder, should we feel better about beating the Eagles last week and say the Eagles are a good team? Or do we look at the Eagles and say they're just an up and down team that's not really good but got a victory against Buffalo, who may be overrated? Because when you look at Buffalo, they talk about the Cowboys. Well, you haven't beaten anybody. You beat the Redskins, you beat the Giants, you beat Miami, which are all teams that Buffalo beat. So after seeing Buffalo play yesterday and see their issues, I feel better about playing them on Thanksgiving. After seeing Minnesota on Thursday night, I feel a little bit better about playing Minnesota as well. And definitely after seeing the Bears with no offense yesterday, I feel better about playing the Bears. So when you first look at the schedule in the off season, you're going by what teams did last year, which has no bearing on this year. When we go through and we look at the preseason power rankings, which change weekly, mind you, we of course had New England at number one. Of course, New England always Super Bowl champions. Then we had the Rams. The Rams got back on track yesterday against the Cincinnati Bengals, but they're not the same team that went last year. Not anywhere close. You got New Orleans. New Orleans is really good. And New Orleans is more than just a quarterback. That is a true team. They've got a running attack. They've got a lights-out defense. They've got a home field advantage. You look at that one and say, really good. Now you look at Kansas City without Pat Mahomes. They're not as good a team without Pat Mahomes. You realize that team is Pat Mahomes. And now have lost 3 games. So they're not quite there. Indianapolis, preseason ranking was 5th. And that was before they ended up having Andrew Luck retire. And then they dropped off the face of the earth. But all of a sudden, Indianapolis is playing better. The Eagles, this is where I want to stop for a second. The depth behind Carson Wentz gets more troubling this week. 7 days after Nick Sudfeld broke his wrist in preseason opener, Cody Kessler suffers a concussion against the Jaguars. Clayton Thornton managed to remain as the one balance on Thursday's game. The general manager, Howie Roseman, coaxed the 40-year-old Josh McCown out of retirement. 2 days later, blah, 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 blah. Philly had the ultimate luxury at quarterback, even a full health. Could you trust McCown, Sudfeld, or Kessler to compete if they're called upon? So the Eagles were already having injury issues going into preseason. Then you had the Bears, ranked 7th. Yeah, how's that working out? Our Cowboys at 8. It's just about, that's pretty consistent about where they are. Steelers at 9. Boy, that's way off. Seattle, you got to move up. The Chargers, Ravens, you got to move up. Minnesota, maybe move up a little bit. And now the Houston Texans lose J.J. Watt again. You hate to see J.J. Watt because he's a great player on and off the field. You hate to see that. And here they have Green Bay at 15. I say all this because you don't know what you don't know. We're looking up at those teams, and of course, everybody's saying, well, the Cowboys aren't going anywhere. Cowboys got no chance. They're done. Look at Green Bay. Look at San Francisco. Look at all these other teams that are doing so much better. But the crazy thing about the NFL is you can have an injury that changes the direction of your team. Kansas City was rolling, and then Pat Mahomes gets hurt. And all of a sudden, that season changes. You lose a player like a J.J. Watt that affects that defense. You don't know what you don't know. And sometimes teams start out really, really hot and get ice cold. They peak too soon. Other ones peak at the right time, going towards the playoffs. Sometimes it's a wild card giant team that goes on the road and beats a 13-3 Dallas team at home after having a week off. You don't know what you don't know. But all you can do is focus in on the next game. Forget about kicking the Eagles' ass last week. That's done. That's over. That's in the books. And that victory doesn't count any more than any other one. What you got to be laser focused on is the next guy and making sure that you don't have a letdown. And that's against the New York Giants. Now, for me, this week is the beginning of hate week. Today is. But for me, I'm kind of sad. I'm really sad. Because something will be missing this year. And that is Eli Manning. I can't believe I'm going to have to retire that. It's kind of like having to say the ringless wonders, the Eagles, having to retire that. It hurts when you lose those things. But it's no longer Eli Manning's team anymore. It's Danny sometimes dimes, Danny's 2 cents most times. Although I will say, Danny Dimes threw 3 TD passes yesterday against the Lions. They came close, so close to getting that victory, but they got a long ways to go. But what I hope does not happen, I pray does not happen, is that we go to New York and we have another stinker and play down to the level of a bad team. That happened to us with the Jets, and it can happen to you against anybody. So they need to come out healthy, well rested, go in there, take care of business, and get out with a win and get out healthy. That's all you want to do. I don't care what the score is. Just get a victory, get out healthy, and live to fight another day. Because it doesn't matter if you win 50-0 or if you win 14-13. It's just another victory in the league and your way to the playoffs. Now we have until 4 o'clock tomorrow. That's the trading deadline. Dallas Cowboys have been almost too quiet since trading for Michael Bennett. It wouldn't surprise me if the Dallas Cowboys made one more move. We'll have to wait and see. We'll find out by 4 o'clock tomorrow if that is in fact the case. But guys, I got to go up here and get ready for work. I got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of places to go today. We're under 50 people on Jobu's day job. I appreciate it. We're almost there to be able to live stream from work. I'd love to get there before Saturday when I go off to Puerto Rico to be rebuilding homes and stuff. But I really appreciate everybody who's gotten there. And I want to make sure that channel, if you got questions about home repairs or tools or things like that, construction wise, I'll do a video to answer your question and stuff on it. But right now, I got to get up out of here. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you soon.